Hello everyone, welcome back to Maggie Holmes Monday. There is the photo we're going to be scrapbooking today. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. I have pulled lots of dies. My entire layout is based on this pattern paper because I absolutely love how it looks on my photo. I also have this wood grain. We're going to use that as our background. I am going to use a couple of stickers for a title piece, and because I love that little deer, I do not end up using that paper at all, and I only use one or two little bits from that cut apart piece. So let's start with my stenciling. We are going to use this peony stencil from Pink Fresh Studio. I don't end up using the letter dies. I don't end up using the leaf dies. I also don't end up using that gingham paper, but I do end up using this part. So as I said, I'm going to use that floral paper to pretty much dictate most of everything on this layout. So I have this stencil set. It's from Pink Fresh Studio. Now it comes as a foil. So it has a foil plate and then the stencil to color in the foiled designs, and it has a die. Or you can just use the stencil set and then die cut. And that's what I'm going to do today. And this gives the flowers a little bit more of like a painted look, and I love it. And I thought that these flowers would be perfect to coordinate and kind of recreate or mimic the flowers that are in that pattern paper. So we're going to use some Distress Oxide ink in lots and lots and lots of different colors to recreate these flowers. So I have Wild Honey, which is the first one. For the next stencil layer, I am using Antique Linen and then just a tiny bit of Fossilized Amber. The next layer is Tattered Rose. This particular stencil set has 6 different layers of stencils. This is one of my absolute favorite stencil sets. You wouldn't actually even need to have a hot foil plate or buy the hot foil stencil or the hot foil plate to go with this. Just having the stencil set and a die will give you beautiful results, as you're going to see here. After Tattered Rose, I'm going to come in with Victorian Velvet for the next layer. For the 2 layers that are primarily the leaves, I'm going to use Rustic Wilderness, but I'm going to go over them twice. So I'm going to go over the first stencil really lightly, and then I'm going to go over the second stencil significantly darker. Once I have all of the stenciling done, I'm going to grab some Gilded Aqua Pigment from Brutus Monroe, and I'm just going to put one little dropper full onto my glass mat, and then I'm going to use a fan brush to splatter that beautiful gold sparkle all over the paper. And then I'll set this aside and dry and go ahead and die cut all of those flowers. And that's how we're going to make all of our embellishments for our layout today. We have busted through so much of my Maggie Holmes stash that I actually am out of flowers. So I have no more stickers that are flowers. I have no more die cuts that are flowers. Nothing. So that's why we just made a whole bunch of flower embellishments for our page today, because I am out of floral embellishments. I still have quite a bit of paper left. I'm running out of stickers too. We're going to use 2 on this layout, but yes, I honestly, it's absolutely amazing to me, but my idea for doing this Maggie Holmes Monday has actually used up quite a bit of my Maggie Holmes stash. So I am going to mat my photo, and I'm going to give this photo a pretty large mat. I want you to be able to really see that paper since it is kind of what I've based my whole layout on. I also die cut a tag that we're going to be using this pattern paper too. I'm going to rough up the edges using just my scissors, and then I'm going to ink the edges of this page using Distress Oxide ink in Vintage Photo. I'm going to go ahead and start to get an idea of how I want this photo and layout to go. And right about here-ish, I'm going to decide that I want a little bit more gold on my page. So I did splatter all of those flowers with the pretty gold ink, but I want some more gold ink. So I'm going to get that same gilded aqua pigment and a fan brush, and I'm going to splatter lots and lots of ink. So this is going to look like I am splattering way too much, but don't forget that a lot of this is going to be covered up. So I'm going to liberally splatter, mostly just around the edges, because I sort of know now where my photo is going to go. And then I'm going to set this paper aside so that it can dry. Once those splatters dry, it doesn't take very long. I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. Like, it was pretty quick. I am going to add some foam easy strips from British Monroe across the back of my photograph. And I'm going to place my photograph down. And then I took the one tag that I had die cut and I cut it in half, basically. And I'm going to use my T-square ruler to kind of line it back up so that it looks like it's a really long tag and it kind of comes underneath the photo. Once I have that down, I'm going to go ahead and use this tag. I'm going to, again, cut it almost in half, but I'm only going to use the top half of it this time, and I'm going to tuck it down in. So this tag, this kind of creamy colored tag with the leaf image on it, that was actually from the cut apart sheet, and I cut it with a die. Then I have this photograph kind of embellishment piece, and I'm going to place that off to the left side. You'll notice I kind of put my photograph more over to the right. I didn't center it completely. So let's talk about this photograph. So my best friend, who is also a scrapbooker, her son and daughter-in-law are going to have a baby, and her daughter-in-law is also a scrapbooker, so you've probably seen her in photos from when I go to Mega Meet or when I go for scrapbooking trips. Usually she is with me for crops and things. So she had these beautiful maternity photos taken. They were so lovely, and I said, if you send them to me and you don't mind that I'm going to post them online, I will scrapbook you a couple like really special pages that you can keep. And she was all for that because she absolutely loves my scrapbook pages. She follows me, and she really loves it when I scrapbook pretty pages. So she was all about me scrapbooking her maternity pages. So I'm going to give them to her. She's going to keep some of them, but then my best friend is going to have a couple too for their books. So that's what these photos are for. You'll see Lexi's maternity photos kind of popping up throughout my channel over probably this month and next month. And then maybe there'll even be some little baby pictures after that. We'll see. Once I have the main elements of my page here, I'm going to go ahead and start adding in all these pretty flowers where I want them. So I have big flowers, medium flowers, small flowers. I cut and stenciled and splattered and die cut 4 panels. So I actually still have quite a few flowers, which is really good because I can kind of put them into a little baggie, pop them in with my other Maggie Holmes products, and I have flowers for another layout another day too. I am going to add my little deer and this little sticker to the left of the photograph that's on kind of on that little card. It's so cute. It turned out so nice. And that sticker says, "You light up my life," and that's going to act as my title for this page. So just a couple more little flower pieces, and then we need to add a final finishing detail. I love final finishing details. For this one, I'm gonna go into my sequin stash and find some pretty sequins to sprinkle around. So I'm going through this is not all of my sequin stash, but just some, and I'm looking for one that's going to match and look really nice with the colors I'm using today. And I settled on, well, not settled, but I chose this one. It's called World Atlas, and that is the sequin mix we are going to use today. I also added some hemp cord in my tags. And now I'm going to go ahead and add the sequins. I always link up Spiegel Mom Scraps in the description box. I have a discount code you can use to save a little bit on any sequins you would like to purchase there. She always has loads of different mixes, and I also design quite a few mixes for her as well. Usually one per release is designed by me, and I love sequins, you guys. They're like my favorite thing. They're the best little detail, perfect finishing touch. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of sprinkle these all around. My sequin gluing technique is to create a little triangle and have those little triangles be kind of tucked in and around whatever embellishments I want to kind of highlight. So I'll find a little open area between flowers in this case, and I'll tuck a little triangle of sequins in there. So that's a good rule for sequin placement. Just add 3 little sequins and kind of put them into a shape of a triangle. And that is where we're going to call this layout all done. My friend Crystal, Miss Pineapple Papers, is also joining me today for Maggie Holmes Monday, and her video will be linked in the description box. If you need some little sparkles to add to your projects, you can find the link to Spiegel Mom Scraps in the description box. And I'm not sure if this Pink Fur Studio die and stencil is still available or not, but if I can find it, I'll link that up for you too. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.